John Mike. Yeah, for us.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Your writing's too busy. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
You know, I've been listening to the comments. I'm young. I'm here. I'm a former Marine. I represent the South Florida Tea Party. And, you know, most of the comments I hear, other than the people that they kind of bust in, are against this tax. And I don't understand. Your job is supposed to balance the budget and, you know, keep the tax rate at a level that will help the economy. We're at a point in our economy with our nation, but more importantly, our county, whom you represent, that you have an obligation to make sure that tax is not burdensome. And yeah, it's maybe only a couple $100, but that's extra time that someone's going to have to work, maybe a vacation, maybe some money that they won't be able to spend on a lady's business. That's money that's supposed to go back into the economy, not go into the government. I got a couple of proposals, and you do have an option. You don't have to pass this. We can sit down. It doesn't matter how much time it takes, but we can have a reasonable budget. First, let's just cut everything that's not mandated. Start there.
Exactly.
Let's go back to a 2001 budget and look at every single program that has been put on that budget since then. You know, the sheriff is doing a great job. You know, crime rate is down. What about, you know, I noticed that there's $123 it costs every day to house a prisoner. Can we recover some of that money some way? I mean, let's look for solutions. You know, I'm not here just to, you know, protest a tax. I'm just, you know, I'm here as a taxpayer, as an American, that this isn't a Republican thing, a Democrat thing, a Libertarian thing. This is about America, and we need to build a better future. And we can do that by having a reasonable budget and looking at a tax rate that will promote the economy and promote this county. You know, on the June 8th discussion, they talked about unused staffing funds being carried over if they're not spent. Why can't we use that one? What about looking at some of the parks and the recreation, all these miscellaneous charges, and look at their costs and see how they compare to other counties, other states, and across the board. And last but least, let's look at our pension fund. That represents a lot of money. Now, I know a little bit about pensions because I'm in the financial services industry. Has there been any private sector analysis of the pensions? Because, you know, we're paying a lot of money, but in our sheriff, our county employees are counting on that money. Is it underwater? My guess is that it probably is. So why don't we look at revamping that and possibly looking at maybe a defined contribution program so that our county employees will have something down the road, and we can address this problem. We can address it now. If we don't, we're going to have even a worse problem, and it may even lead to some serious financial difficulties of this county for my generation, you know, 10, 20, 15, 30 years down the road. We want it to be here, and that's what I want you to do. Balance the budget, do your job.
Employees are covered by the retirement program for the state of Florida, which is probably the best shape of any state retirement program going forward. And it's the cabinet of the state of Florida runs that particular program, and it's actually quite successful. I apologize, your writing is too pretty. I couldn't